Hi, I'm Adrian Mark. I'm 14 years old, and today I'm with Ennis Esmer, who plays Oz in the TV show The Listener.
I'm 33.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. Hello. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, very good.
So, what made you initially decide you wanted to become an actor?
Honestly, at the time, I was probably in junior high school, and we had some improv classes, which
Right.
I'd never really seen before at the actual school level, where you could take classes and work on improv and theater and things like
Right.
that. And it was kind of the only thing that I found I was good at, that I was really good at, but that also was fun to do as well. Like, there were other classes that my parents had to push me in. Like, my dad was very big into mathematics and whatnot, and my mom's a big reader, but I just found like that was the class where I really
Right.
had the most fun, but also got good marks for it. So I was like, hey, why am I, breaking my head open on these other classes when I got this thing that I'm really enjoying?
You play many different roles. You've played in Murdoch Mysteries
I did.
and Flashpoint.
Yes.
And
Those are little parts. Those were like little things, but yeah, still
Oh, okay.
definitely fun to do.
So, I'm curious, what are some things you do to get into character for these different parts?
I always try to think of it in terms of myself in the situation. I find if it comes from me naturally, it's easier to get into a part. Whether it's, the Murdoch Mysteries is set in the early 1900s, and I'm playing like an unscrupulous photographer, but I'm like, okay, what if I was in this situation? As opposed to going, this is a totally foreign thing, let me create a character for it. So I try to bring something of myself to each part.
You live in Toronto.
That's true. Correct. You've really done your research.
Yeah, I have.
Yeah.
And you work in Toronto as well.
Also correct.
Yeah. What does it mean to act in your hometown?
It means I can like roll out of bed and then just go to. I don't even have to shower. You can just go to work. It's right there.
Yeah.
To be on a show that's actually set in Toronto, and to be working in the city that I'm from is definitely a very cool thing.
Yeah.
To be able to, even on The Listener, we talk about there's like an emergency at an intersection, like Bathurst and Queen, and
Yeah.
it's downtown. So it's pretty cool to have that happen. And also, between the first and second season when it aired, we do a lot of ambulance shots
Right.
downtown driving around. And people actually started to like recognize the ambulance, which was pretty neat too, and they'd sort of call out, and usually nice things. Some angry people, but just because we were blocking traffic. Besides that, they were fans of the show and things like that. So it's pretty cool to shoot in your hometown and have people recognize the show and also know about it and whatnot. Yeah.
So, as a child, did you ever think you would be acting or be on TV?
Now, what is the child age range? Like up until 18 or like at 4?
Yeah.
Because at 4 I was just thinking mostly about hugs and stuff and like cartoons and being.
Well, I mean, during high school and...
In high school, I was very fortunate because I went to Earl Haig Secondary School, a very venerable arts institution, and I actually majored in theater then. And they had classes like experimental theater, advanced improv. We were putting on monthly talent shows. I was actually co-producing live, sort of not just comedy events, but school shows, and we would do sketch in them and stand up and things like that. So I sort of cut my teeth doing that sort of thing. And I was very fortunate to go to a school that cultivated that. So that I think that's sort of what pointed me in that direction, because I had theater and improv classes twice as often as I had the other classes.
What are some struggles you face?
Oh, so many struggles.
Yeah.
In what, just like in work, or just like getting up in the morning?
During work,
Okay.
in your acting career?
Well, it's actually, right now we're in the middle of a hiatus on The Listener. We shot the third season. We finished in February, and it just aired last week on CTV, Wednesday nights at 10 p.m., 9 Central. And, we're always kind of in limbo. You don't know if you're going to get another season. So I'd like to call it a hiatus, which is what, when you're like in the cast of Friends or Law & Order, you say, oh yeah, we're on hiatus, I'm going to do a movie. But in Canada, there's no real promise that any show's coming back at any time. And even though we've had good ratings and we have great fans, we still never know from season to season. So it is very daunting. The inconsistency can be kind of troubling sometimes.
What would you say is your favorite number one thing about acting?
My favorite number one thing about acting, if you play your cards right, they will make you a grilled cheese sandwich almost any point in the day. It's amazing.
Wow.
Do you like grilled cheese sandwiches?
I do love grilled cheese
Right?
sandwiches. Yeah,
Do you have a favorite kind of cheese, or does it like the processed, or do you like the good stuff?
I like the good stuff.
You like the good stuff. Get a nice what, cheddar?
Cheddar, sure.
Cheddar, sure. Let's go cheddar. And you can be like, you know, you have to be polite about it, obviously.
Yeah.
But, and here's the thing: even if you don't want grilled cheese, sometimes they just bring it out for everybody. Have you ever refused a grilled cheese sandwich?
No, never.
Never.
No.
I can't count in my mind and if I ever did, I regretted it immediately. Because I'm like, no, I couldn't possibly, and then they're all gone.
Yeah.
And then where's all the grilled cheese?
Exactly.
So that's definitely the highlight. I think that's kind of why I got into this business.
Yeah.
You know, I think the love of theater and performing and a shared humanity among all mankind is great, but grilled cheese sandwiches is really, I think, why I got into it. What was the question?
What is your number one favorite thing about acting?
My number one favorite thing about acting, I think it's the fact that, like, I remember when I was a kid and my dad would ask me, because I didn't do great in school and other things, and I think the more I got comfortable with performing and things like that, I would put all my energy there, and I didn't do really as good as I could in some of the other courses, but I knew I was drawn to performance.
Mm-hmm.
And my dad would always kind of kid around and be like, you know, where do you think this is going to get you? Like, you just goof around, you think that's going to get you somewhere?
Yeah.
And then it was a little while ago, I think I was watching something, and you know, it was a thing that made him laugh. I did these commercials a while back where I was like goofing around in a recording studio, and I fell off my chair and things like that,
Yeah.
and broke like a tape machine and all this stuff. And I swear to you, he's seen it maybe 50 times, and he laughs every single time. And he kind of said like, oh, I think I figured out where you were going with all this stuff. So
Yeah.
that was maybe my favorite thing.
A lot of people today tend to hate their jobs. What makes your job so different?
What people? No, I understand. People hate
Yeah.
their jobs. I was actually thinking about this the other day. I was lucky enough, again, to work on the LA Complex, which is another CTV Much Music show. New episodes premiere July 17th at 9 p.m. on Much Music. And I was thinking about that. It was kind of, they had moved my start time up, and I had less time to prepare than I had wanted to. We were in the scene, and it was actually a pretty funny scene, and I just I kind of caught how much I was enjoying just doing it, and we were improvising a lot. It was myself and this actress Cassie Steele, who plays Abby on the LA Complex. She was on Degrassi as well before. And it was just her and I, and we were coming up with all these little bits and things to do, and the director came over, and it was such a fun environment that the worry about the prep didn't really matter at a certain point, because
Right.
I think I've done this long enough that I can memorize lines and get in there, but I think, I don't know what it is. It's something about the people you work with and getting their, like, taking their energy, and when it's a good energy, and being able to collaborate on something. That just reminded me how fortunate I am to be able to do this.
People tend to get nervous on camera
Yeah.
or on stage. What are some things you do to get over some nervousness you might have?
Honestly, I'm more nervous when there's not a camera on me. I find that that's like the place I feel the most comfortable.
Right.
Now, stage is kind of different. Sometimes, I mean, I do stand up from time to time, but I'm still not 100% good with every kind of live audience. I do like hosting things because there's an adrenaline rush for sure, but I feel like I've worked long enough that I just really would rather not be anywhere else than working on film and television. It's really the best feeling.
Yeah. Do you have any inspirations or role models you look up to?
I find that I thrive off the achievements and ambitions of my friends, because it's kind of cool to have all these directors and writers and producers that I've met, because we're all sort of at the same age,
Mm-hmm.
and everyone's working or trying to work. I got friends who do theater, friends who are in, and no one's like super famous, but that doesn't really matter. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're doing a job you love, and you're getting paid enough for it that you can live, and that can be what you do for a living. So it's a pretty special situation to be in, and I think that I look to my peers for inspiration as much as possible.
So, Ennis,
No more questions. I'm kidding. Sorry. Okay, go ahead.
So, Ennis.
Yes, Adrian.
What advice would you give to young people who are interested in an acting career?
No matter what you're doing in this business, because there's so much rejection and so many people with different opinions than yours, you can't let it affect you, but you have to be confident in yourself. And you have to be, creative and open-minded, and try things, and be willing to fail.
Yeah.
And take chances that might feel crazy at the time, because you'll be a better performer because of it, or writer or director, whatever it is. There's so many different, ways that you can get shot down in this business, and you got to find a way to push through those. And I'd say so. Just be sure of yourself and believe in your ability, and don't let people question it.
Cool.
Was
Yeah.
that inspirational? Was that good? Did that seem like it was
Touched my
inspirational?
heart, yeah.
Did it really?
Yeah.
Okay. It sounds sarcastic though. What you said.
So thanks, Ennis, on behalf of Artistic Edge for answering my questions.
Hey, thank you, Adrian, for
Yeah.
asking them. I appreciate it.
And maybe we can pick up a grilled cheese sandwich or something.
You serious? You want to go get a grilled
Yeah,
cheese?
let's get it
I'll eat a grilled
right
cheese.
now.
I'll share a grilled cheese with you right now.
Beauty.
Lead the way.
All right, let's go.
Let's go.
Do you have any advice? I forget the question.
It's okay. It's okay. You're thinking about grilled cheese sandwiches, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so are you at home, I'm sure. They melt. If it's and then it melts out. I like when it gets a little crunchy on the bottom.
Yeah.
Right. There you go.
So thanks, Esmer, for
That's my last name.
damn.
What are you, my basketball coach now? Thanks, Esmer. Great game. Great game, Marks. This has been Adrian and Ennis's Watchdog Report. We'll be right back. And then we go to commercial. Is that right? Is there a commercial now?
Yeah.
Brought to you by Horizon brand folding chairs. When you want to look like you're directing a TV show, Horizon. Right? And then it'll say Horizon here, just on the. It'll have the mailing address. Okay.